Well, other than that, does anyone have any questions before we get started?
Any questions?
Yep.
No.
All right. My only question for you is, does anyone have an unopened beverage that they would like to use with the opening crack with me?
Someone grab one. Eric, do you have a seltzer?
No.
Go. Eric's gonna be drinking a LaCroix.
Okay. Hell yeah.
He's gonna crack that. Being good on a weekday.
Does anyone want a LaCroix?
All right. In three, two, one. Welcome to the Beers with Bands podcast with your host, Michael Torres. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Beers with Bands. In typical Beers with Bands fashion, even though I'm based in the Midwest, I'm still sitting down with another Philly band because, this Philly region just keeps pumping out amazing music time after time. And I'm sitting down with Puppy Angst tonight. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Great.
Oh, yeah. Well, first of all, thank you so much for stopping by the show and like I said, spending your Thursday with me. Before we get too far, can you go around the room and kind of say who you are and what you do in Puppy Angst?
Hi, I'm Alyssa. Puppy Angst is my brainchild slash baby. I am a cat owner of a very cute and rambunctious kitten who will maybe make her presence very known during this interview. I play guitar, I sing, I played synth on the records, and now we have a synth player. We'll go around in this circle, but and I write the songs, so Puppy Angst is my passion project.
And I play synth. My name is Polly, and I play synth and sing background, like harmonies, vocals.
I'm Eric, and I play drums.
I'm John, I play the bass guitar. I'm Dan, I play guitar and some backing vocals.
All right. I gotta say, the five of you together, though, everything sounds so well coming through everything that's going on. I know we're gonna talk about the new single, latest single, and some other stuff here in a little bit. But I just want to say before we get too far, like it's been super fun listening to, obviously the full length latest single and everything else that's going on. I know, Polly, you weren't on those technically, but I mean, I'm sure
Oh, she was on the single.
she was on. You were on the single. Okay, you
Polly's
kill
first
it there.
recording was TKO. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, everything sounds so great, and it's been a joy to listen to. And I hope everyone that's watching goes, if they haven't already, and listens to everything you guys have out because it's truly amazing. Like I forgot to mention, your genre, I guess, is gazy, dreamy, fuzz pop. Like I said, from Philly, and honestly, I don't know what all that means, but I feel like it fits perfectly for what the sound that's coming out. And but yeah, everyone that's listening, please go check them out and maybe come back or do it afterwards. We'll figure that out. But I kind of want to start at the latest single, TKO, which came out back in May. I think Alyssa, me and you actually started talking shortly after that. Like, this has been some time in the making for this episode, which I'm super happy that we're finally getting to put it out. I mean, that's the first single since your full length Scorpio season came out last October. What was the response on this single? For the first thing in, I don't know, what's that, like 6 months? October to May.
Yeah, that is 6 months. I feel like it was a really good response. I would say out of any like song we've dropped, like even the singles from the full length, I feel like it got a pretty quick, like people kind of like caught on a little faster maybe. I feel like with every release, it's kind of been like building and building, a little bit of a slow burn. Um, we were asked by Fire Talk for a song after we put out the album because they had heard like Perpetual, which was the final single, and then they heard the album and they were like, "Do you have any unreleased stuff that you would want to put out on OpenTab, which is their like digital imprint that Fire Talk does. And we didn't have anything written. We didn't have any extra songs from the album. What was recorded for the album was recorded for the album. So TKO we wrote super fast, and it was one of those like, I wrote it like the last day of 2022, and then we recorded it by early February so that we could have a mix in by early March so that the master would be ready so that it could come out in May. So it was like a really weird, very fast process compared to the album, which took like probably like, it took like probably a year and a half of, how long did it take to track the album? Probably like a full year. It took a while to get the album fully done, basically. Yeah, so it was very quick, but it seemed like people really enjoyed it. We played it on our March tour when we went down to South by, where we did do the Fire Talk South by showcase. That was one of the two like official showcases we had. And we decided to play TKO on that tour, and the response was really good at all the shows. It seemed like people would get really into that song, and so far I feel like people have been liking it, which is cool. I felt a little like worried about putting it out because it felt like, I don't know, it was kind of like, oh, I'm standing up for myself, for me. Like a happy song, I guess. But I don't know. I think people like it. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
You got people to wave.
I do get
On
people to,
tour.
yeah.
Mhm.
Like when live, so I think that's pretty good response.
Yeah.
I agree.
No, I mean it's a sick song. It's great that it was so well received on that March tour, considering it technically wasn't even out yet. Those are people were hearing it for the first time.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's amazing, and it's also insane how fast of a process you guys did to kind of turn that around and get that ready to be put out on streaming. Considering, like you said, the just tracking alone took about a year and a half. That doesn't count, like all the time writing and everything beforehand.
The album was slow going because it was like we did like 4 full studio days, but then everything else was like one-off days when we could find time with our engineer at her home studio, basically. So that's why it took so long. Maybe a year is like an over-exaggeration, but it definitely took like almost a year of tracking before we finally got it done.
Okay.
Whereas, yeah, this TKO came together super fast, and it kind of like just spilled out too after a very long writer's block. I didn't write any music between finishing demos for Scorpio season, which would have been October 2020. I want to say October 2020, maybe, or 20. Yeah, that makes sense. Before, like a couple months before we started tracking, I wrote the final song for Scorpio season, made the final demo, and then I just stopped writing music completely because I was busy like working on the album, coming up with backing vocals, coming up with synth parts, and doing all of the stuff for that. So yeah, TKO just kind of came out after a really long writer's block too. So it was like unplugging the creative juices or something.
And like for the rest of you, what were you guys' thoughts on like going from Scorpio season into TKO, where it's still Puppy Angst at heart, but I feel like TKO kind of opened or at least showcases like a different style than what Scorpio season was, in like not a bad way, all in a good way obviously, but I feel like it was a different almost a slight different direction, if that makes any sense. I could be completely wrong. You're all looking at me like I'm crazy right now. But what was everyone else's thoughts with this one coming to the table?
I feel like we learned stuff recording the album. So when it came to this single, we were able to just like work more efficiently, communicate our ideas better. It sounds kind of vague, but that's just what comes to mind. Like I feel like getting our recording under our belt, it's like, okay, this one's like just hit the ground running.
Yeah, I think so too. And I also think that like as a band, like the things that we write been progressively getting better too, right? Like the more comfortable, familiar you are playing with people, right? You like lean into each other's strengths and whatnot.
I think the song definitely feels like a progression. Like it's very clearly from the same, coming from, like the Puppy Angst place, but I think it feels it feels like all of Scorpio season has come before it, and I think that's very cool. It was very fun for me to like be part of the recording and writing process somewhat for that song, like right basically as I was joining the band too. Definitely very fun after having just learned all those parts and coming up with that as well.
Threw a lot at her right at once.
It's a good way to test new member, just here's all this plus a new song to figure out as well.
Good time.
Puppy Angst kind of stays busy. I feel like we'll just do nothing for a little while, and then it's like, oh shit, we got to do everything all at once. Am I allowed to swear? I should have asked.
Oh yeah, you're good.
Okay, I kind of have a potty mouth a little bit. Dan, you didn't answer the question, so Dan's turn.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that there was kind of a deadline for the song wasn't interesting because we had to write it quickly, so there wasn't a lot of second guessing or like rewriting things. One of like the big changes in the song, like right before the big lead guitar part at the end, to like where the drums kind of drop out and they're like filtered way down with like phasers and stuff, was a very last minute like decision that we did. And like,
John came up with that.
Yeah, it was John's.
Well, John wanted everything to drop out, and then I think Dan was like, what if it was, instead of a full dropout, it was a phaser?
Yeah,
and then our engineer Johanna got like,
she made it come to life.
And that's maybe my favorite part of the song, is when everything like goes through that phaser and then comes back in. It's really cool. But yeah, no, not a ton of changes to that song. I think maybe my first demo, there was like something slightly different where I didn't, there was like something different that we did at the end. And then I came up with a new ending, and then we kind of just like decided that was it, and we just went for it. So yeah, definitely not a lot of second guessing. Whereas with the album, there was like almost too much time to sit with things. So it was a lot harder to like just go with your instinct. It's like, oh, well, we have time to like try a bunch of stuff, so let's like keep trying stuff. But we did eventually just decide like, no, we have to get this done, please.
Now, do you guys feel like it was, even though you were on a time crunch, a little bit more like cathartic to just be able to be like, okay, we have to give it our like best 1-2 take and then just do it that way, rather than being like, okay, we've done this song, but how could I sit here and ponder it and like make it better or keep tweaking it like you would have had to do with the album?
We did do like 2 rounds of demos for the song, I think. Luckily it was just a single song as opposed to like the album, which was 11. So it was a lot easier to do on a time crunch than more songs would be. Like, we were fortunate that it was just one single song to focus our time on. I think there were a lot of just needing to go with like first instincts type of things. We had a little bit of time to tweak things, and when we were in the studio, there was time to do takes and stuff and like repeat things, and proper like time was given to recording it. But as far as like rewriting stuff goes, I guess we didn't have as much time for that. The first thing we put out, the EP in 2018, was super on a time crunch as well, because originally it was just going to be like demos that we put up on Bandcamp just so that people could hear us before asking us to play a show. And then we decided to make it a full EP, but that one we gave like a very short turnaround time to, for I think it was 5 songs. In some ways I wish we'd given that more time rather than just like rush to put the first thing out. So it's kind of like we've gone between like the super fast process with the super long one. I think the happy medium is maybe where I'm trying to be for the next thing. Maybe instead of like agonizing for a really long time over one recording like project, we'll try to do a little bit of that like first instinct thing, but still give us enough time to like hone it. Does that make sense? Yeah. I think that would be like the perfect recording, probably. So for the next thing, we're gonna try to take an appropriate amount of time, not too fast, not too slow.
Okay. Well,
or My Bloody Valentine Love List thing, where it takes 15 years to get an album out, whatever.
Well, I'm looking forward to whatever else comes next, just because I know it's just going to be killer, and to see how the 5 of you follow up TKO and kind of go from here. But one cool thing that I know we really want to talk about today is last October 24th, 2022, you released the full length Scorpio season, which, I mean, like I said before, if no one has listened to Puppy Angst, go listen to that. Obviously, listen to the EP as well. I listened to kind of everything today just to kind of get the full feel for Puppy Angst, see the progression and all that fun stuff. But Scorpio season, we're coming up on the 1 year anniversary, and y'all get to do something cool that not a lot of people get to do or get to see. But you guys are getting it pressed on vinyl this year. Like, how stoked are you guys to be able to do that? As someone that doesn't have a medium where I can really press something on vinyl, because who wants to hear a podcast on vinyl? Like, I mean, that's an idea. I might have to hang on.
Actually,
to that, but...
you might be onto something.
Yeah.
Do it right.
Wait, do comedians press? Comedy to vinyl?
Oh,
comedians. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I kind of like that. Yeah, I'm through the moon. Through the roof. The moon. I don't know what the saying is right now. When we were working on TKO, I literally said, I'm not writing another album until Scorpio season gets to be on vinyl. And then a few weeks later, while we were on the South by tour, our manager Ian messaged me to say that someone wanted to put it out on vinyl. And I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to write another album now. My own self-fulfilling prophecy, but I'm so happy. It's always been a dream of mine to have vinyl of like any music I've been involved in. And the closest I've come was when I was in Mississippi, and I did sing a couple of backing vocals on We're So In Tune, like just group vocals, and I sent them into her. But like, other than that, I've never been on any vinyl recordings of anything. So it's like literally always been a dream of mine. And the fact that my first like vinyl thing gets to be this album that is really just me bearing my soul. I went from the EP, which I feel like I'm still like happy with those songs. Like, I'm proud of the songs and everything, but I definitely went a lot more vulnerable and a lot more real with the album, with Scorpio season. It really feels like this is me. Here you go. Scary thing to do for a Scorpio, but I did it, and it feels crazy to just like have it out there. And the fact that enough people are into it, and like someone who wants to press it on vinyl is going to do that for us. And we've already had people ask if we have it coming on vinyl because they want to buy it. That's pretty wild to me. It's truly a dream. That's all I have to say about that. Anyone else?
Yeah, no, I think that's like been like a goal of mine for very long. Like, I started collecting records maybe when I was like 15 or 16 or something like that, and it's kind of always been a goal is to get something on vinyl. So the fact that not only is it going to be on vinyl, but somebody felt so strongly about it that they would pay the money to put it out, which is so cool. And then, like Alyssa said, people having asked for it. It's just like all around, just like a very cool thing to have happen.
It feels really validating.
Yeah.
That like, not only do people want like it on a physical medium, but like on something like vinyl where like it'll cost like $20, $25 or whatever it ends up being, just because vinyl is so much more expensive, whereas like a tape is like $10, like someone could easily pick that up. But the fact that I've had people say like, I'll wait till there's vinyl, because they just want it on like that really very real thing. Feels very cool. And I did the like packaging design for it too, which was my first time doing vinyl packaging design. So it feels cool that like 2 mediums that I participate in will be on this one thing. I haven't shown anyone. I should share it. I don't know. I'm like a little self-conscious about it because I'm like not really like a visual artist, but I'm trying to be.
Yes, you are. You make our merch too.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you do the merch designs, so I mean.
Yeah.
I'm like, so as far as like visual art goes, I'm like super self-taught, so I feel very self-conscious about it sometimes because I'm like, I know there's like so many better artists out there than me, but it saves us money for me to make it ourselves. So
you can't measure art that way. You know what I mean?
That's expensive.
Yeah.
And plus, it means
blowing smoke up my ass.
plus it adds a whole nother depth.
Nice.
You know, you just said Scorpio season is this like look into you as to from this different aspect, and if you're also designing, you know, everything that goes with the release, it just adds that another layer rather than just being like, oh, we like, yes, I mean, there's many good artists out there, not bashing paying someone to do it, but it means more to have you do it rather than having like another artist come in and try and like capture your vision when you can just put it out there.
That's kind of why I like Eric had a friend who would maybe have helped with the graphic design of it all for a really like good frame rate. But I was like, you know what? I kind of know what I want it to look like, and I'm so bad at explaining to other people what I want from something. So let me see if I can make it happen first. And I kind of like experimented a little bit, and I ended up coming up with something that I am pretty proud of. I think it'll look really pretty. Really the templates and stuff were like the hardest part for me, was trying to make sure everything would be configured properly for like the printing of it, so it would look good. And I think I psyched myself out more than I needed to. I probably could have done it a lot sooner and a lot faster, but my brain got in the way and told me like, oh, like it's so much harder than you think it is. And it was a little bit of a learning curve, but I'm excited that once again I've poured my soul into this thing again, as I want to do.
No, but yeah, it's super awesome to see, you know, another hardworking band be able to get vinyl. I know we've kind of talked about the other mediums. You guys do also have Scorpio season on cassette, which people can pick up as well. But I know a lot of people are starting to get back into cassettes. Like I have a few that I'm starting to possibly decide if I want to spend money on building that collection after, you know, starting a vinyl collection, where I feel like it's a slippery slope on that one. But you know, basically what I'm getting at is there's cassettes, people can always pick up CDs or digital, but there's something about just getting that vinyl record in your hands and it just having it physically like that. I don't know, just colorways, everything. Yeah.
Oh, we make our own tapes too.
We did make our own.
Hell yeah.
Duplicated them all.
Yeah, I like have a really bullshit tape label that's very real.
You have like
Like,
that church duplicator or something.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like I think it was originally used to like make
for sermons
to get a lot of sermons duplicated really fast.
Yeah.
Wow.
But we used it for music.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we
Used
did.
it for good.
Yes. Yeah.
Like a sermon.
Obviously the full announcement goes out on the 24th. This episode will come out shortly after, so I mean at this time I don't even know what's going on because we're a month out. But what are you doing? Any special variants, or is it just black? Like tell me some more about this release here.
So excited about the variants. We're gonna do one that's primarily red with black kind of meshed in, a galaxy one. And then we're gonna do a 3-color A-side, B-side that's gonna be primarily black with pops of red and then a really pale yellow to match the neon sign, like the inner part of the neon sign, and the little light that's by the door in the album artwork. So there's gonna be pops of red and then pops of the light yellow to kind of like bring that color in as well, because it feels like a prominent enough color to, you know, highlight it in the variant. So they're going to be like pretty different. The one is going to be primarily red, the one's going to be primarily black. And then the A-side, B-side effect is really cool because it's super random on each side. So it'll kind of like, we'll just like see what happens when they make it. I'm excited to see what comes out of that. Yeah, I'm very excited to have vinyl coming, and the fact that we're getting variants too, like it's not just going to be like black, which I mean, black vinyl is cool as well, but getting variants done is really exciting. And Big Pink Records is putting it out for us and basically just fronting all of the costs of making it happen. So we're really, really, really grateful to JR at Big Pink Records for doing that for us. Thank you, JR.
Now, I know besides, you're probably each gonna, you know, try and snag a copy of each, but is there a variant that each of you are more excited to see in person or wanting to add to your collection than the other?
I want one of each. I'm gonna keep the test press to them.
You have to.
I think we all might get a test press. I don't
That
know.
would be incredible.
I can't remember.
Oh, good.
I think
That would be great.
so.
I haven't even thought about it, but I'm so
Polly's not
excited.
technically on the album, but I did give her a shout out because she edited our music videos for the album. So
This is very important.
Oh yeah, you did.
made the visual
The
world
visual
happen.
world, yeah.
Helped make
Yeah.
the visual happen.
Assisted, yes.
So whoever wants to go and say which variant they're more excited about, please go.
I like the Galaxy one. That was my vote when you were trying to pick them out.
Yeah, I guess the Galaxy one too.
I honestly can't remember what you just said, so I'm gonna say that I'm not excited about either.
Eric's like, I'll take what I can get.
I know.
All right.
I'm gonna love it regardless. Yeah.
I think I'm excited for the A-side, B-side one just to see how it comes out because it is a super random effect. But like I said, I'm probably going to keep one of each. I'm really excited to have two variants of an album of songs that definitely were a very specific part of my life. I feel like it's a story sort of. It's cool to have it just out there in a set 11 songs.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's amazing that you're able to do this, and especially like we said, doing variants. That's something that a lot of people can do or get to say that they're able to finally do is put their music on vinyl. Specifically, even variants. Most people do black, which, like we said, black is just fine. But it's nice to be able to have a little bit of a pop with
Make it match the album artwork.
Exactly. I know you kind of mentioned earlier that you were waiting until this album got put on vinyl before you would write a new record. Obviously, in this position that I am in, I have to ask, what is on the horizon? Like, what's coming next for Puppy Angst?
I think that the writer's block is going away. I've started writing some stuff. It feels a little different. I wrote what feels like a really happy song, like fully happy. A love song, which is rare for me. The first batch of songs I wrote when I was 18 or 20. I don't remember how old I was when I started writing songs, but they were love songs, but they were written for wrong people and got turned into hate songs a little bit. Because that was kind of what had to happen, I guess, for me to heal from those experiences. But this one is an honest to God love song. And it feels very poppy country a little bit. I don't know. They said Third Eye Blind, but I was feeling like it felt very I don't know, felt kind of like country. But we're gonna put our own spin on it. I think I want to incorporate a lot more of that experimental vocal processing that's on songs like Insensitivity, and Time Taker has a little bit of that on the record. TKO has a little bit of taste of that with the that phaser dropout right before the final guitar solo. That feels kind of more the direction that I want to start going in. It'll be cool to start writing with a dedicated synth player. I think I'm gonna start putting the guitar down a little bit more, maybe picking up some synth myself live, maybe sampling, maybe just being a front person a little bit of the time. I still obviously love playing guitar. It is my love. I love writing on guitar, but it'll be cool to take a new direction kind of. And now that we have a 5-piece, I feel like I have the freedom to do that, because we actually started recording the album as a 3-piece, just me, John, and Eric. I thought I was gonna have to write all of the lead guitar for the album, and then Dan luckily swept in and helped me out with that because I was gonna be touring with Mississippi a lot. I was really worried I wasn't gonna have time to do that. So it'll be cool to have more of us to flesh out the sound and come up with ideas and give me a chance to maybe take a step away from guitar for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, if people remember, you made a post today on Instagram about, and I think you tweeted about it as well, about how weird would it be if you put down the guitar in a set and just kind of did your own thing and then came back for the solos. I don't think that's weird at all.
Thank you.
There's-
Thank you for
there-
validating my vision to stardom.
especially with there being with y'all being a 5-piece now, like it adds that extra element where you can take the time to do that. I know recently I saw my friends in, I had to think for a second, I almost blanked and I would have felt so bad, but I recently saw my friends in Honey Creek play when they were here in Minneapolis the last time, and they're I think 5 or 6 deep in their band, and they have one of their vocalists also play synth, so when they're not playing synth, they have their guitar as well, and then they kind of sometimes just act as a solo vocalist as well. So you have those options to be able to do that. There's other examples that I could say, but the one that comes to mind is a really shitty band that I don't even want to mention on this podcast because they don't deserve it. But yes, it's not weird is what I'm getting at. Use that stage, have fun, because especially if you're having fun and you're able to like kind of rock out, it's going to make people in the crowd feel more connected and be
when I get to stop strumming and use my arms, because I use my hands a lot when we play, but I'm like, what could I do if I put the guitar down? I keep joking that maybe Polly should learn to play just a little bit of guitar to cover it when I'm not playing. She doesn't really like guitar like that, but maybe by next album.
All right. We'll check back in and we'll see if Polly gave in or not.
We're teaching Polly to love guitar music.
I love guitar music. I do love guitar music. I just don't want to play it.
I got news for you. You are playing guitar music a little bit. We are throwing synth in there too, though. I love synth. I love pop music, hyper pop. You know, I'm trying to like meld genres more and have fun with it, and not feel too tied down to any one style or any one arrangement or instrumentation. It'd be fun to just like try stuff out.
Yeah, I mean, like I told them to, like synth is something you don't see a lot of in, in this side of the spectrum, or not a lot of people do synth as much anymore, anyways. But you just don't see it that often. So when you find a band that is doing synth and it sounds good, you're gonna want to keep listening to them because it just adds those extra elements back in. Like, I mean, like Honey Creek does it, and then you guys, and then I drop off the list of like active bands that I know of that are doing synth, and I mean, you guys are both doing synth, you guys are doing something right and killing it.
Thank you.
Before we start to transition, I know we've kind of talked, TKO, we talked the upcoming pressing of Scorpio season, and kind of what we can see in the future, but is there anything with Puppy Angst that we might not have talked about that you want the people to know about?
We briefly touched on the music videos, but I think more people should watch our music videos.
I also agree with that. I watched all of them today before we sat down, and they were done so well. Like, I also have come to this point in my life where I don't need a full storyline music video to like hook me in, because obviously, Yellow Paint, you guys are all like painting this room and kind of doing your thing, but then I'm gonna butcher the names of the ones that it was, and I have it all up. And Insensitivity, and kind of just has this fun like montage of all these moments that you guys are experiencing, which I loved that whole aspect. And then Perpetual, kind of does its own thing, but I can't stress enough, everyone go watch these because they're so well done and came out so well, and I loved all of them. Plus obviously the tunes are great, so it helps.
Yellow Paint was the first time I ever directed anything, and it was really wild to have these visual ideas in my head and try to figure out how we were going to make them reality. Like, we literally did the painting portion for Yellow Paint. We just like taped up pieces of paper in our friend's living room and painted on them, and then it was like so scary because I was like, I hope we don't destroy their living room. Those are some real ones for letting us do this, even, because that was the one where I was like, I really want this specific scene to happen, but I just don't know how we're gonna make it real. The flower field was so awkward because there's like people trying to go on nice little hikes, trying to get like shots in between. it was, you know, like, but I had these ideas and I really wanted to create this like yellow soaked world for that one. And the perpetual one was difficult because it was like, how are we gonna like figure out how to like, we're gonna like play drums in like the woods. Luckily, Dan's parents have a really beautiful wooded backyard that they let us use for that. They were so kind to do that, and his brother filmed those portions. The party scene was like such a headache to make happen with like all those different people. That was the first time I had to work with like trying to get like a massive group of people to all work on one thing together. It was really fun though. We had a lot of fun at the party scene. I think everyone else who was like in the party had maybe a little more fun than I did because I was mostly just stressing out about making sure everything happened. But I think the results for like super DIY videos, like I remember John answered some interview we did a while back where like his favorite memory from the year was making the yellow paint video happen with like very limited resources, which I thought was really cool because I was like, yeah, we did do that with like really, we did it in like a living room and like these tiny little easel rolls of paper, like even just setting that up was wild. So I'm really glad that the end result was enjoyable from like all the like effort that it took and the little resources we had.
Were there any ideas that y'all wanted to use for the music videos that just weren't able to happen?
We did forget to do a streamer throwing scene while the party was happening, so we just did it after the party scene in the backyard and managed to make that happen, like put it in the final cut, but we did almost forget to use the streamers. Trying to think. Well, in sensitivity, actually, I had been collecting footage for that entire summer from like June 2022 until August 2022 when the song came out. I'd been collecting footage for the entire summer. We had a really cute beach day that me, John, and Eric went to with John's now fiance Lindsay.
Eric's fiance.
Oh, sorry, Eric's now fiance Lindsay. John's fiance is Ivy. I'm sorry, everyone's getting married. Added names now suddenly. I don't know what's going on.
Secrets.
I'm just nervous to be on camera. We had a cute little beach day. Like we had all these fun like moments. And then the camcorder that I was using, the drive was corrupted and I lost 3 months worth of footage that I cried my eyes out when I lost this footage because it was like, not only did I lose like a music video, I lost like really precious memories with friends that meant a lot to me. Like we had footage from like the lake when we went with our friends TVOD, who we became really close to that summer. You know, like show scenes, like our single release show for Yellow Paint, we had footage from that night and we just lost it all because the drive was corrupted. And when it came down to it, we could not figure out how to get the footage back. A friend of ours tried to help. Dan ended up buying a memory card and we just started over, and over like 2 weeks after the song came out, I just recorded more stuff and just recorded whatever I could and then edited it all together in one night just to like get a music video out before the perpetual video came out and was finished. It was like, it was a struggle to get this all done, you know, but we did what we could. Classic Puppy Angst. Of course, I cry my eyes out for a song that starts, I've cried every day this week. It was like almost like fate that would happen for that video. I am still really sad that I don't have those like memories anymore, but we got to create new ones. And maybe there's another montage video coming for another song if we decide to take the camcorder on tour or whatever. Risky. Camcorder is a little scary. I did buy it off eBay and did not know
Back
if it
it
was.
up every night.
Back it up every night. I'd like just transfer it to the computer and we take the footage.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, either that or get a different camcorder. I don't know if I would still use the same one after that happened, but yes, like we're saying, go check out these music videos. They all came out amazing. You know, with the limited resources that you had at your disposal, the videos I don't feel like show that. Like they feel, you know, a little bit. They feel like they were a little bit more bigger budget, so they came out super well. And obviously with the camcorder footage, you know, it's that nice nostalgic feeling with all those shots going together. But overall, 10 out of 10 on all the music videos. Everyone go check those out. We'll talk links in a little bit, but as we start to transition here, this is obviously Beers with Bands. You don't have to be drinking on these episodes because I'll definitely do that for you. But I know the 5 of you have some drinks in front of you on this fine Thursday. What are you drinking tonight?
I have a Sapporo with my Eagles koozie that I got the night that they won the Super Bowl in 2018. Go Birds! And then I have Peach Pear LaCroix, which is the best flavor of LaCroix in my humble opinion.
I also have Sapporo. We went to H Mart for groceries recently, so
Got a Walt Whitman Belgian white ale from Philadelphia Brewing Company in honor.
Okay.
This is
of the city we're in.
local.
Yeah,
Yes.
local beer.
I have an empty cider. I was gonna get another one. It's like a ginger cider, also from Philadelphia Brewing Company. It's good. Not
They have a
sweet.
beautiful yard
Oh, we didn't even see it. I didn't
to
even
hang
see
out
it.
in.
I made another one.
of course.
And I have a LaCroix.
Peach pear.
Because I'm driving and I'm responsible.
I appreciate that.
Show off.
And I know this episode is probably going to come out later in October to follow up with the release and everything. But I guess really semantically it doesn't matter because it'll be in the other videos. But this was the first episode recorded in September, and for the first time in I think 4 episodes, almost like all of August episodes, I didn't have them. But I'm back. I have my PBRs with me.
Yay!
yeah.
I have a PBR in the fridge, but I went for the Sapporo instead.
That's okay. No, it's been this like ongoing thing where I moved houses in Minneapolis, and the liquor store near me just doesn't carry PBRs for whatever reason. So it's been, as a punk kid at heart, it's been really trying times in this house while I have to drink like Coors Light or something. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like everywhere should have it in the
The
U.S.
most that they have is 6-pack Tall Boys, and I usually get like a case just to have on hand for when I go to do an episode. So it's been hard. But yeah.
Eric
So
popped up to the loo.
okay, that's fine.
Well, I'm rewatching Skins UK, so that's the exact right reaction. That's so much. Honestly, I was like doing a little bit too well mentally recently, so I was like, you know what? I'm gonna book us another tour, and I'm gonna rewatch Skins UK.
So tough.
Like, I need to be doing worse somehow.
Well, 2 points there. One, Skins UK is great, and
Isn't it? The theme song is the greatest, like, 40 seconds of music I've ever heard.
It's one that I should probably go back and rewatch. I know I watched it at some point, and then I think it might have been like they released the US version. I was like, this is garbage. And then I found like the actual one.
The US version, because the UK version is so good.
Yeah.
I would have been a different person if I didn't see like Cassie and Effie and like, you know, like those were my like emotional support mentally ill characters when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Eric knows that from Skins.
My friend's brother from the American one. I told you that.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Well,
Danny Flaherty.
we were just saying it was
It's not good. He's my friend's brother. It doesn't mean the joke.
There we go. That's like that's a real opinion right there. Friend's brother's in it and still says it's not very good.
The other thing I wanted to point out is that you just mentioned an upcoming tour. Are you planning an upcoming one, or what? Or was that for the March one that you were talking about?
No, it's real. I lost my damn marbles a couple months ago, decided to book us another tour. So, God willing, November 2nd through November 12th.
Yay.
Should I say where we're going? Tentatively.
if you want to tentatively, other than that, we can just say make sure to check the socials as we get closer, because I'm sure it'll be announced by the time this episode's coming out.
Yeah,
for
I'm planning
actual
to
dates.
announce it like hopefully by the end of this month.
Okay.
That would be
Cool.
ideal because I want it to be like common knowledge for at least a month before we leave.
Hell yeah. Well,
But yeah, we're trying to go to Baltimore, Richmond, Charlotte, North Carolina feels pretty in the cards. Nashville is pretty much set in stone. Cincinnati is pretty much set in stone. As is Pittsburgh is feeling pretty good. Rochester, New York's feeling pretty good. And then like Amherst, Massachusetts, and Boston, Massachusetts. It's like getting there. It's really just like sending a million emails a day and doing a ton of research just to not hear back from anyone.
yeah.
But I have been blessed with a lot of responses recently, so that's been keeping it going, you know. I really did think I was gonna have to give up probably like a week ago, but now I'm in a better place where it seems like the tour is gonna happen.
Well,
Enough so that I told my job about it. I was waiting until it felt more set in stone to try to get like the time off from work, so.
well, now it has to happen, because then you don't want to go into work and being like, so that whole tour that I asked to be off for,
Yeah.
like it didn't
I'm
happen.
like, I told you guys about this. I was like really, really talking up a big game about it, and now I'm actually just back here. That'd be a little bit embarrassing. So it has to happen now that I've spoken it into existence. Holly's fun and right now.
Not exactly.
Not exactly.
I mean,
That's a portion of
it
it.
was a little bit of a catalyst.
Being able to tour is the reason why I work in like restaurants. Like I want to be allowed to just like leave whenever I want. So that is kind of why I'm like, restaurants are pretty good about that. Mine especially is really understanding. So, and it's like a new place I'm working at, but they are pretty cool about it. So
That's always good. Yeah, that's like that was the difficult thing with the times that I would tour with my friends, is like, oh, I have to take actual vacation from like a desk job. Like I didn't have one of those like bartending or waiting jobs where it allows that flexibility to be able to do it.
the only problem is you're kind of broke like right when you get back, but it's like I'll just like tell everyone to give me their shifts that they don't want before I leave and after I come home. Just like pick up extra work. I have been working like a little bit more recently. Like anytime I can pick up a shift, I'm like, give me, just in preparation for that. But there she goes.
Well, I know we talked some Puppy Angst, we talked some beers, some LaCroix, but now we're gonna get into what is my favorite part of these episodes. It's also the last segment of these episodes, but this is where we kind of talk about some fun stories from your time in music, whether it's shows, tours, time recording. As I normally say, they can be anything horrendous to tremendous, or any adjective in between.
Are there prompts or is it just any story?
So I mean, like the main prompt is usually I have some that we can go through, but it's usually like, think about like the fun stories that you always think about or reminisce about with your friends. Those are usually like the best ones that I love to hear. Otherwise, I can give you some prompts that are somewhat fun sometimes, depending on the mood. But we'll get there.
Does anyone have thoughts?
I think like what's appropriate.
Oh, I once slept in a weird little like room where there was like cat puke next to our bassist's head, and then the mom of the people we were staying with kept like peeking in, and she was like, "Honey, are you okay with all these boys?" To me, it was a band of all boys. And this was a night when we played in the second floor, very creaky, of a outdoor garage in Massachusetts in January. And then the parents of the people whose house we were playing at, they knew the show was happening. They ended up calling the cops on the show.
Oh my God.
So we played 3 songs, but my fingers were like frozen, so it's not like I was really doing good playing anyways. And then we went to Buffalo Wild Wings, and then we stayed at this Wild's house. So This is my first band.
Actually, I have a fun show story.
Let's hear it.
All right, so I was playing a show in Denver for the first time, and we were all pretty excited to be in a state with legal weed products. And they got everything. They have like sodas and gummies and all sorts of things. So we indulged for the show and started playing.
Oh, no.
And our guitar player, like mid-song, stops playing and turns to the drummer to ask how his tone is.
How's my
Oh, no.
He's like, dude, keep playing.
Well, that's really good.
That's pretty good.
That's really good.
That is really good, especially considering like
There you go.
I like know who the guitarist is. Like him
Mm.
stopping playing.
That was the last time
Wow.
we played high. Once was
Oh,
enough.
wow.
That's pretty
Traumatizing.
awesome.
On the first tour I ever went on, we like couldn't stay at the person who was having a house show. He's actually like in a kind of popular band now, but anyway, I don't know why he didn't let us stay at his house, but we broke into a state park in Wisconsin, right? And, we like drove around the fences, like over a bunch of grass up a hill or whatever to a campsite, and then everyone else in my band but me did a bunch of mushrooms, right? Right? So we got there at 2 in the morning. No one went to sleep. Next morning at 7 a.m., I'm like, all right, guys, we're going. I'm driving. Everybody still really on mushrooms. Band breaks down immediately. Like, immediately. And I can't get it to run, right? Like, I literally can't get it to run. But the one guitarist, or the drummer of the band at the time, he was like, all right, you have to, like, feather the gas and the brake. So he wound up driving the van to the mechanic, tripping so hard.
That's scary.
So scary.
That's
Yeah.
definitely on the horrendous side.
Yeah, it is
Yeah.
definitely on the horrendous side. It's funny now.
But everyone's
It's funny now, you all lived. Everyone
Yeah.
was okay, but oh my
That's
god.
the tremendous part, that they all lived.
Yeah.
Both.
I've got a
Tremendous
band
and
breakdown
very-
story too. On the first day of a tour I did, same band that I was talking about. This was when I was in Past Life. Great boys, love them. But first day of this tour, we're supposed to get to Canada, to Toronto, from Philly. That's a pretty sizable drive.
Yeah.
Pat's behind me. Frankie's not just like patting my back.
Really?
Frankie, oh my gosh, that's our old roommate. I can't get anyone's fucking name right. Holly. Oh Lord. Lord help me. Van breaks down a couple of hours into our drive to Toronto. We're on the side of the highway trying to like wait for AAA. It's really hot too, I think. Finally, AAA does come. This van is one we're renting from someone, just like a friend. Get towed to like some little like town in upstate New York. We ended up spending like the whole day in upstate New York. And like, we're like, there's no way we're making this show. Like, it's in Toronto. We still have to go across the border. Like, we're going to have to get searched when we go across the border because that's what happens. And also, we're obviously in a band. Like, they're going to search us. We somehow made it to this show as the band before us was playing their last song. We like loaded in and then immediately set up and played. And then we slept in the van parked on Lake Ontario. I slept
Wow.
on that tour. Not really tough when there's no bathroom to go to.
Yeah.
I managed to like sneak into this bar that was like about to close and just like go to the bathroom real fast. And I was like, all right, I gotta hold it till morning, I guess, because I'm like just at this lake. But you
So-
know, we survived that tour too. The things we do for music.
Right. So we did on the last run I did, we were supposed to play originally, I think we had like an off day in Baltimore, played in New Jersey. We were supposed to play in either Long Island or somewhere in New York. But the show fell through. Well, yeah.
Our great
But
place
the,
to go, I guess. I don't know.
but the show fell through and we couldn't find one. And our friends in Centerfolds that are from Richmond, Virginia, were like, hey, we're having our album release show. Just come back down from New Jersey and play our show. And we're like, okay, yeah, it sounds great. Like, we'll come play it. A bunch of bands were playing it, so we were just really stoked to be with our friends. The only downfall was the next night after the Richmond show, we were supposed to play Toronto.
Huh.
So
Oh, that's like even worse than Philly to Toronto.
Yeah, so before we took off, like I knew I was driving the next day, so I went and went immediately to sleep in the back, and then the rest of the guys like smoked the last of the weed to just, and then just basically long hauled. So I woke up somewhere in the middle of Pennsylvania, crossing the border. We thought we were gonna get checked. They had us pull over. We all had to go inside. We sat in there for like 15-20 minutes. I think there was like a shift change, and the other guy was just like fuck it and just stamped all our passports and like let us go. And like they didn't search the van at all. They just like opened the door to see how many people were in there, and we were riding 2 bands at that point in the van, so there was like 9 or 10 of us.
Oh wow.
But it was kind of funny where we were walking back to the van. Again, we didn't get searched. Nothing in the trailer got. I don't even think they opened the trailer at all. And there's like a just a sedan next to us with like a husband and wife, and their entire car is just getting searched and like everything pulled out. And I was like, that would have sucked if that would have been us.
I hope that's not gonna be us.
I mean, even on the way back,
I was toying with the idea of Toronto for this November tour, but then I was like, I'm kind of scared to like try to cross the border for just like one show.
well, that's what we did. We just went up.
One.
Yeah, we went up just for Toronto, and then drove like halfway back down that same night, stayed at a truck stop, and then crossed like the next morning. And it went fine. We were crossed back over in like Detroit, and the only thing that we had issues was that the US Customs or Border Patrol was just like, next time take like a preemptive inventory of all your instruments and have your serial numbers with you. That way we can kind of see, like, make sure that they're not stolen or whatever. Because he was like, how do I know that this is actually yours? And we're like, I mean, technically you don't, like, but we're 9 people in a band in a trailer, so like it's ours.
Assume it's ours.
Yeah, so he was just like, hey, next time you guys are gonna do this, and we're like, this is our last tour. Like they were breaking up anyway, so we didn't even worry about it.
That's good to know though. Like I do have the serial number of my guitar, like a picture of it somewhere in my phone, but I should keep a better record of those things.
Is your hoodie like Bad Heaven, like John Gomm's band?
So it does say Bad Heaven, but it's for my friends in Centerfolds that are from Richmond, Virginia.
Okay.
I unfortunately only remember one of the dudes' names. I don't remember the rest of the members.
Oh yeah, there's a guy from Philly. It's like the guy from Snowing. His band is called Bad Heaven.
Oh, okay.
Limited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, their album was called Bad Heaven Forever. So
nice.
That's what it was.
The full sweatshirt.
Yeah.
Full phrase. I like the words together.
Dan or Polly, do you have any crazy show moments?
Blanking pretty hard.
You knocked over her synth stand recently.
Oh yeah.
He was
Polly-
really mad at me.
Polly had the audacity to change up her synth setup, and
So Dan was pissed.
I was mad. So the like tuners on my guitar kept getting caught in her like cables because of the way that it was hanging off the stand. I just wasn't used to it being there. So there's like her new like little synth that she just bought is like dangling from my guitar during like one of our songs, and we're just like scrambling to set it back up.
I don't
It was
remember
a
this.
huge
Oh,
I didn't even know
I
that
like-
happened.
I didn't
had
either.
a 2-tier
You guys survived.
synth
Even
setup
you know.
because I was using like a laptop, and then I got like a smaller
That's so bad.
modular synth, and so I didn't need my laptop anymore, and so it was very tall, like hiding behind my like tower for most of the time, and then now I just have the 1-tier, but it's like a little bit wider, and we just weren't accounting for the wires.
For
It was
the
so,
wider synth stand.
it was so funny.
You
I
also,
was-
we
It
also
happened twice.
almost all, besides John, because he didn't get to go on our March tour with us, we like all got our shit rocked at this one house in Murfreesboro. Like
Oh my
Oh,
I
yeah.
am notorious for eating the mic when I sing.
Yeah.
I can't help it. That's why on
Me
tour
too.
we bring our own mic. I'm sorry. I'm like right up against that thing, covered in lipstick by the end of
Making
the
out.
set. Like I can't help it. It's just what I do. And at this show, I had to consciously not do it because these kids were moshing so hard.
They were moshing
that I got a
15
mic
seconds
to the
in.
tooth, like literally moments into our like slow opening song. I was like, yeah, how are you even moshing to this? They were, it was like kids are all right kind of moment. I was like, this is really exciting to me that they would do this much for like our chillest song.
Yeah.
Because then by the time it got to like the less chill songs, like, oh, they were going hard. It was so cool.
I can remember
They crowd surfed someone at the previous or the following set. They crowd surfed someone in a living room, and there wasn't more than like 30 people at this show. I want to say, like, it wasn't like a ton of people, but they somehow managed to crowd surf someone.
I can't remember what song we ended with. Maybe Red, Red, or Yellow, but I remember the last song. I had already been just like gripping everything so tight, like white knuckled. Because I was like, this is all of my most precious belongings.
Like, these kids are going to knock my
which is like, you know, I'm happy for them, but I am also like, please don't. But the last song, I remember just being like, oh god, I don't know about this.
I was so scared and excited the whole time we played that set.
Yeah, it was cool.
Murfreesboro, Tennessee, Crossroads Punk House, one of the best shows. It was sick. Yeah. Trying to think of any other crazy nights we had on the March tour, because it'd be cool to have like crazy stories from like this band.
I mean, I it's not a story, but South by Southwest was just a blast. Like the whole time was like amazing.
It was crazy. I had
seeing bands like the entire off day we had. That was the hardest day, I want to say. Like we did do 2 shows, like 2 of the days we were in Austin, we did 2-in-1s. We did 6 shows over 5 days in Austin with 1 day off.
Yeah.
The day off was the hardest one, I think.
It was something out of me.
I don't know. I think that everyone had a pretty good time.
Yeah. Yeah. I randomly met someone who was in a band. I met someone at a house show in Austin. We were just like talking because like they were there with a Richmond band, and I was like, everyone I know is from Richmond right now for some reason. So I'm talking with this Richmond band, Lobby Boy. They're really good. And then just ended up also talking with the person they were with, and we discovered that we are essentially in the same band and hadn't met. And so that was like fun South by Southwest moment where it was like, Philly, Philly strong.
Polly found love at South.
It's true.
That's a pretty good story, I think. That's true.
They should like sponsor your wedding or something.
It was a meet cute. Whoa,
it was a meet cute.
All right.
Eric's just got it. These 2 got their minds on weddings.
I know.
2 engaged boys.
It didn't seem like you were saying no. I'm proposing for John.
Different John.
Yeah, different John.
This John's already spoken for an engagement.
Okay.
It's true.
I hope I'm invited to either of these weddings.
Feel bad.
That would be so
I have 160 people coming, but you couldn't.
I literally think I think you'd be kicked out of this band. I'm sorry. If I was not invited to your wedding, I'd be like, that's like
I would
really
kick myself out.
I would 100% be like, you have to kick Eric out of the band.
Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, you're not
just
gonna
imagine-
invite me to your
Speaking
wedding.
to him again.
Like, just imagine not getting invited, and then it's like, okay, we're gonna go on tour, and then sit in the van with each other, next to each other for like 6-hour drives, just like, so what'd you do in your time off, man? I got married.
Sorry, it was a really
160
small,
people.
it was a
I
really
should be
small
attacked.
wedding, only 160 people.
I'm just saying. I like hope I'm invited to both.
It's like my mom's second cousin
It's
who I
good to
haven't
speak
seen in
it
20
into
years.
Yeah, you had that one cousin that was like 4 times removed. They had to be there.
Right.
Not me.
Filled
though.
up the seats.
Yep.
You've
Filled
only been
up
in
all
a
the
band
seats.
for 27 years together.
27. Oh wow.
You know.
Since I was born. Eric is the longest standing member, besides me. It was solo. I will say solo before it was a band, but Eric was in the OG full band lineup.
Oh, that's actually kind of a funny story. How Puppy Angst became a band. Well, how I joined the full band Puppy Angst. How that happened. Because you're playing my basement.
Yes.
And I was just like,
I was like, I got 2 people interested.
and I was like kind of drunk.
Can we practice at your house and you'll be in the band?
Yeah, and I was just like I want to join the band. Your music's great. Like, whatever, and I was kind of drunk, and then they were like, "Oh, do you want to play drums?" I was like, "Yeah, I play drums." At the time, I did not play drums.
Yo, Kyle,
I
our
messed
OG
around.
bassist at
Yeah.
our Johnny Brenda show, because we played Johnny Brenda's on July 1st with Well Wisher, and Kyle O'Connor used to be our bassist, our original bassist, and Kyle plays in Well Wisher now, and was at the Johnny Brenda show and was like, "Oh my God, Eric literally just like faked it till he made it." Like, he was like faking it till he was making it his way into playing drums.
Yes.
Because he literally was like, "Yeah, I'll play drums, totally."
I
And
know.
then he was like, "Fuck, I don't play
It's 'cause
drums."
nobody,
Why did I say-"
everyone starts bands when they're drunk, but no one ever thought.
But then I like,
Yeah, that's true.
I literally messaged him the next day. I was like, "So you're good to play drums, right?" And he was like, "Yeah."
Oh my God.
I mean, I did give you the choice of any instrument,
No, you
and you were
did.
like, "Yeah, I can play drums."
I know, it was a really bad lie. I normally don't be lying like that either.
But Eric, did you have a drum kit at that time?
I did, yeah, I did.
Okay.
So I
And he
lived
had a house to practice at.
Yeah. Yeah, so I lived in the house of other musicians, so it wasn't even my drum kit, but
Okay.
Access to a drum set,
yeah.
and he had the light drunken confidence of saying he played drums, even though he was like,
I
"Fuck."
had
The
played
next day, he
drums.
was like, "Oh shit."
Oh shit.
He told me like later too. He was like, "I really didn't think you were gonna like follow up on that." And literally the next day, I was like, "So you're good for drums, right?" Because I got Kyle on
Yes.
bass and Dylan on guitar.
Oh my God.
That's how it happens.
How it happens.
Look at him now.
We've all been there.
Now he's
We've
really
all been in Eric's
all the
position.
time.
All the time.
Yeah,
Um,
you might end up having to play
You
drums in a
might.
band.
yeah.
And play drums in a band where the singer insists on everything being really fast.
Let this be a lesson to you. Yeah.
I'm good.
Oh, new songs are going to be a little bit slower. I figured out how to slow it down.
They're bops though.
Yeah.
Slow but boppy.
No, hits only.
Only the hits. No B-sides.
Puppy Angst, all killer, no filler.
Mm.
There you go.
I swear, I hope that's true. I really should be this overconfident on recording.
I think that's what LP2 is for.
Yeah.
I'll kill her. Like you already have your like, artistic moment of like this is my whole self,
Yeah.
and now so you're done. You get to be done with that. Now you just get to make hits only.
Well, LP2
Well, I looked at
interesting.
LP1. I thought LP1 was kind of all killer, no
Because
filler.
for sure.
LP1 is
It
always
is.
like
You
all
don't
the
even-
stuff that you've been sitting on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why LP2 is so interesting, because like, okay, now you recorded all the stuff you've been
Yeah.
sitting on, and
It's
now you
like-
have to write fresh new music.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Now, I don't think I asked this. I know we talked about like there's going to be new music in the future, but what are the plans to go right into LP2 or do like EP2 and then LP2 or?
I
kinda
want to
like,
do
what are you
another
thinking?
LP.
Yeah.
I have already like a visual like concept and world that I want to create for a second one, and I want it to span more than 5 songs, or however much is max for an EP. So I want to do a full length, and if there's extra songs left over at the end that can be a continuation of that album, then maybe an EP after that. That's kind of like my goals. Shoot for a full length and maybe have extra left over for an EP.
Hell yeah.
But I do like want the concept and the visuals and stuff to like serve a larger structure of songs and work.
Okay. Hell yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like most people I talk to, after doing a whole LP, they feel so daunted to like try and do another LP. So, props to you for like being headstrong about like going that route. And I'm serious. I'm stoked to see what comes next and how you follow
I am
up Scorpio
daunted.
season.
Don't get me wrong, I am daunted. But I'm also like the most stubborn motherfucker out there. So
Oh yeah.
as daunted as I am, I'm like, I want another album. So I will find a way to make it happen. I must have lost my mind because I'm willing to do it, but I'm gonna make it happen.
Okay. So I know we talked about some stories, but I do have one question for the 5 of you. And it's one that I've started asking Philly bands in general, but I guess you know you guys are in like that area where these things exist, but it can be a tough question, and I don't know how lopsided your band is going to be on this. But for people that are not from Philly or Pennsylvania in general, there are two major gas stations. There is Wawa and there is Sheetz.
So it's easy.
Easy.
What is?
I
You
don't
guys are
know. We're in Wawa County, country, whatever. Wawa has gone downhill recently. They're doing
This
too
is
many
true.
things.
okay.
Used to be Wawa was the choice, but I feel like recently they're just like they added fettuccine alfredo on the menu at some point. I ordered it. It wasn't very good. They're doing pasta, they're doing burgers, they're doing French fries, but they don't have deep fryers. I'm sorry, but I don't understand why Wawa is doing so
Why
much
did you order
when they
it?
could.
Why would you order fettuccine alfredo at the Wawa?
I mean, I get what you're saying, Eric. It's weird to do, but I also feel like I would have to at least try it.
You have to. I
There's
mean,
no way
you
that
see
my
fettuccine
stomach would be
Alfredo on the
destroyed.
Wawa menu. You order it. You want to know what it tastes like.
Yes.
Oh, well, oh my god.
It was okay. It wasn't very good. This is why I have to choose Sheetz, because Sheetz knows what it is. It knows that it's doing fried food, and it just does the fried food, you know? Wawa's trying to do too many things. Although I will say, I really do enjoy getting like a little Wawa coffee and like a bagel in the morning.
Where
even
the
though
stuffed
like
pretzels are pretty on point.
they've got good
Okay.
stuff at Wawa. It's just I wish they'd focus on that good stuff instead of just being like, we need to do everything. So, I don't know why I got so heated and animated.
Sheets is the best. I think everyone agrees. Do you feel
No.
differently, John?
Oh,
I think a good Wawa hits, and Sheets kind of like I feel like
consistently mid.
I mean Sheets can be cool. I feel like Wawa is like Tom Hanks and Forrest Gump, where Sheets is like Jim Carrey in The Mask. You know, it's like kind of this like weird.
You know.
That makes a
Like-
lot of sense.
It kind of is, yeah.
I rest my case.
those sandwiches at Wawa are too wet these days.
Too
It's
wet?
too much
No,
sauce.
the bread's bad too. I
They
feel
used to like make their own bread.
Yeah, I don't do that.
They just like changed something. Like in the last few, I feel like when I used to get Wawa like a couple years ago, I was like, this is so good.
Maybe
And
your
now I'm
taste
like-
is refined.
Mm,
Yeah.
maybe.
I'm vegan, so I can't really eat anything at either of them, but I have a fondness for Sheets because of the last day of our March tour.
Oh my god.
Alyssa had been on like vocal rest, like really strict about drinking like room temperature water, like you know, like, just very.
I was taking
intense
care of this
all
voice. I was like, I have like
Good.
2 shows in one day, multiple times.
Yeah.
I have no days off.
We had very few days off. Like it was just.
I think we had 1.
we had 2. For
We
the
had 2,
tour, but
right? 2
One
total.
was like a driving
Yeah.
day, but like Alyssa was just very intense. And then their last show was this like house show in
The one that's in
Yeah,
Pennsylvania.
Harrisburg, yeah.
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg, and we drove
Wait.
back that night.
Harrisonburg is Virginia.
You know, it's
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg.
Harrisburg. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, the capital of Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
House show was there at the Capitol, and
Capitol building.
The Capitol building.
and
That was the
it
house.
was. They just went like feral. Like they were like, I'm getting soft served, and like we're just like hugging me the whole time.
Oh god, I remember this. I was like, Holly, you're going to Sheets, and she was like, I'm vegan, and I was like, no, go to Sheets.
I mean, I went and I got like French fries or something. Like it was great, but it really made me like
Definitely
love
over-ordered.
Sheets. You did.
I did. I got way too much fucking stuff at Sheets. I also like, I was really good about like not really drinking on the tour
Oh,
because I was
yeah.
like, I want my voice to sound good. And I don't want to get like too drunk and scream, you know, like I don't want to be yelling every day. So I was really responsible, but I did go a little bit nuts on the last night. And I was like, I'm getting a milkshake at Sheets.
It was so.
I'm going to get freaking mac and cheese bites. They weren't even good, but I still
like
got them.
bites.
And then we listened to Strange Ranger really loud
We
for the ride home. It was just like it was a sweet time. So
That was a good drive home.
Mhm.
yeah.
I feel like I don't know what about the mac and cheese. I think maybe I was just so excited about
I mean,
all
they're
the
not
dairy
like
that I was
this,
able to have. And then I was like, I really didn't even want these mac and cheese bites. Like, I would have been fine with just
You
the
needed
milkshake.
them. You didn't want them, but you needed them.
emotionally.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I went a little crazy the last night
It
before.
was very sweet.
I will say
Look
this.
forward to for November. I'm gonna be
Right.
really responsible and good for like a week straight, and then I'm just gonna let it all loose on the last night.
I will say this is a nice change of pace considering the last band that I sat down with was my cousin's girlfriend's house, who is also from Philly. And
Is that what the
they
band's called? My cousin's house?
yeah.
That's a sick name.
And I was sitting down with there's only 3 of them in the band, and 2 of them, like, I thought I was about to watch a band break up. They were so adamant that Wawa was superior to Sheets, and their one member was like, I mean, like, I'll eat both, but Sheets is kind of like he was so civil, but like the other guys were just like, I'm over exaggerating it probably a little bit, but I was just like, what is happening right now? Like, I thought I was about to watch a band break up.
Because it's a culture war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
True.
I'm just happy to be able to touch some buttons on a screen and get food after.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that I can make myself a little tater tots wrap at Sheets. Kind of like a chicken finger wrap, but I don't eat chicken anymore. I'm pescatarian, bad vegetarian. So I can get a little tater tot wrap, and it kind of feels like I'm eating a chicken finger wrap.
Here you go.
I used to eat a lot of chicken finger wraps when I was in college.
Classic college.
Classic
vibes.
college. So I think that's kind of neat about Sheets, but
I feel like we're gonna
they
get
have good
canceled.
cold foam at Wawa.
What's the
For the coffee, like I like getting like an iced coffee with cold foam at Wawa a lot. And like an everything bagel. I know I'm from Long Island, and I'm gonna say right now, the bagels at Wawa are not good bagels, but I still want to eat them.
You're from Long Island.
Yeah, what
Yeah, I'm from a place that has like the best bagels ever.
Cake you've ever had.
I like the bagels at Wawa are not good. Especially compared to my hometown
We
bagels.
know that.
But I still want to eat the bagel. Like I still want
No one was arguing with that fact at all, or would have disproved that one. But I love how you just made that whole point.
You should start doing takes on like social media that are like that.
it. I'm gonna start doing stand-up comedy.
Start arguing.
I'm practicing for my type 5.
Yes.
Next year, I'm being invited to South by as a comedy act and not a music act.
Speak it.
I don't think I have the chutzpah for comedy, unfortunately. Seems really scary to be alone up there with just a microphone and nothing else. And a
No,
water. That's true.
there are some comedians that go up there with a guitar now and then kind of sing their act.
And Steve Martin even.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's got
Oh,
banjo.
Does banjo, yeah.
Banjo.
Dimitri Martin, though.
Oh, there you
Steve
go.
Martin.
Ah,
Martin brothers.
they're brothers.
What's that guy that did the pandemic thing?
Bo Burnham.
Bo Burnham.
Oh yeah.
That's a guitar and comedy
Yeah.
and piano.
But I mean, that's always the fun thing about like me asking this Sheets versus Wawa question, is because like I know it's such, like Eric said, it's such a cultural thing in your guys' area, and as someone that, you know, isn't traveling through Pennsylvania at all anymore, not because Pennsylvania is bad, Pennsylvania good, people go drive through Pennsylvania, it's just I'm not on the road anymore, so I have stopped at both. It's been so many years where I miss both of them and I would love to try them again. I have mentioned to some Philly bands, like since I've sat down with so many Philly bands, maybe one day I'll make a trek back out to Philly and just meet everyone and do a whole big thing. I think we actually, when I was sitting down with my girlfriend's house, my cousin's girlfriend's house, we talked about possibly doing like a Sheets versus Wawa at the Walmart beach, just to make it a whole big thing.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, right.
Fun.
But I was slightly open. Sorry, what?
I love that Walmart beach exists. Like,
As iconic as Wawa.
Walmart Beach. Walmart Beach.
I mean, I only know about Walmart Beach from the guy that ate a whole rotisserie chicken at Walmart Beach.
They
They
used to
did
have
some
raves
shows
there.
there. Oh, raves too.
Yeah, they used to do
Yeah.
that. Free.
But yeah, so if that ever happens, I'll be sure to let Puppy Angst know so y'all can come out and experience that as well. But I mean, you guys didn't get as heated or as divided as I thought it was gonna be. I know, John, you were the one lonely member for Wawa, but
I don't know.
I'm still
Dan,
gonna.
For like nostalgic purposes, I'm pretty lukewarm on both. Like it's good road food,
You know
but
what?
you know.
He's
Can I
like,
say
either one's
something?
gonna hurt my belly.
Can I say something
Yeah.
really quick?
Yeah.
I'm from Massachusetts, and Cumberland Farms slays. Like, I don't know.
We'll have to be the judge of that when we tour up there.
Yeah.
There's also New Jersey.
Yo,
We got
quick check.
Wawa and Quick Check, and we know that Central Jersey exists because there is a section of Jersey where there is Wawa and Quick
And
Check.
quick check. That's where I grew
Okay.
up.
That's what Central Jersey is where
And
there's Wawa and Quick Check
Stewart's-
together.
Stewart's in upstate New York.
I don't know
Oh.
Also
Stewart's.
slays.
Well, that place is cool too because they're like a kind of a co-op, right?
Yeah.
Like
know.
the workers own the thing. Yeah,
That
it's pretty
sounds-
cool.
I kind of like the pilot ones. I feel like the
Oh
pilot
yeah.
are cool.
One that I haven't been
Buc-ee's
to.
scared the shit
yeah.
out of me. I was terrified at Buc-ee's.
It was scary.
There were way
So
too many
long.
people
It was
there.
awesome.
The bathroom line started the second you walked in the door. It was like unhinged. I was like, I'm not going here. I
We're going in the
can't.
middle of the night
How are
next
there
time.
300 people that all need gas at the same time?
It was
I
so
thought it was
scary
Right.
at Buc-ee's. I
was-
wanted
thi-
to like it more, but it was just too busy.
I wanted to buy the wine glasses that had the Texas rhinestone. It
I
was.
didn't see that. I didn't even look around at Buc-ee's. I was so scared of the
I wanted
place.
to
I wish I bought the Buc-ee's bikini top.
One of my biggest regrets ever.
I regret that we went to the only Buc-ee's we went to was the one right outside of Austin at the end of South by Week.
Oof. Yeah, that
That was
just
really
sounds like
bad
it's gonna be
choice
packed.
on our part.
Uh,
Anyway.
I've
We're getting off topic once again because
no,
they
you're fine.
the Wawa sheets thing,
I
and
just
we were
needed
like,
to
no, different
speak
ones.
My truth.
But I also love the episodes where, you know, especially since there's 5 of you, where it kind of gets a little unhinged and off topic, because that just shows the people like what Puppy Angst is actually like behind the scenes.
That's
Like,
so true. Unhinged
so-
and off topic should be how we are described.
yeah.
Stick to a genre, no thanks. Off topic. Gazy, fuzzy, dreamy, off topic pop.
But the last question I'm going to leave for the 5 of you is, in your time with Puppy Angst, what has your favorite moment been so far?
I'm gonna let everyone else go before me. Whoever wants to start, go ahead.
I mean, honestly, the South by showcases were really, really sick, and our album release shows were awesome too.
I have to agree with the tour and culminating with South by and all of that, and also the recording process and releasing the album was really fun for me.
This interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. South by was definitely super fun, especially the Fire Talk showcase. But one of my favorite moments ever, I feel like I needed to quit my job. I was in a dark place in life. But we at practice, we like started just working on a cover of like a Cure song maybe for fun, maybe for playing, and it was so fun to all do that together. And one of my, I mean, yeah, it was cool. And like one of the first times that I had experienced at practice, like a song new to me that was also new to everyone else, and we were just like kind of figuring it out, and it made me be like, life is worth living again. Okay, yeah, I love this. Music actually is fun. So maybe that.
Sure. Good answer. You
For
win this
me-
round.
Answer.
For me, it's like anytime people sing along to the songs. it's rare, but when it happens, it's surreal. Also, that moment when we're playing live and I like look at any of these four and we like smile at each other. We have a little moment. I like the little moments.
As someone that's someone in the
And the
crowd, I
album
love those
release
moments.
show was so freaking special.
Oh, it was so fun.
We almost sold out Philomoka on a night where there were like literally too many other good shows. Like there were so many other good shows that I thought we were gonna have like the saddest release show ever, and we almost sold it out. And it was surreal, and people like danced and they stayed till the end, and like John's other bandmates came, and like Polly was there before she had joined the band. Some of Dan's family members were there. There were just like a lot of friends there. It was like
crowded.
It was a wild night.
It was so fun.
And we did do a cover that night where I got to put the guitar down and I jumped into the crowd and it was really fun. But yeah, just having those moments where it feels like this is my way of connecting with people who I know and also maybe don't know. And I'm kind of bad at connecting with people like normally. So getting the chance to do that with music is really sick because I'm like not great at
I
communicating.
disagree.
Yeah, I
with you.
disagree.
I think we all disagree with you, Alyssa.
I don't feel like
I don't like when you
struggle.
talk bad about my friend Alyssa. I just want to say.
I do struggle to feel like I can feel
100%.
confident and comfortable to open up. So I feel like the little moments where we're on stage and we smile at each other, I feel very much like seen,
Yeah.
and it feels like a connection moment. Or like, you know, someone from far away reaching out to me on like Instagram and saying like, this song by you is one of my favorite songs ever. Like having someone say that is wild. Someone from the UK recently said that and was like, I want you to come to the UK so bad. And I'll be waiting for you when you do. Like little things like that, like even though it's just like, feels like so simple, it's just a message, it really like, it feels life-changing for me. I'm like, this is a dream to have people connecting and like feeling less alone with the words that I write because my favorite music makes me feel less alone. So any moment that makes me feel that, I don't know. I know that's not a really good succinct answer, but that is my big answer. Good answer.
Yeah.
Cue some Family Feud music.
No, yeah, that's a great answer because at the end of the day, that's what you want people. I mean, you don't want to use your music for validation, but at the same time, you kind of want that validation, and it's nice to have those moments. I mean, as we kind of wind down, I just want to say to the five of you, thank you so much for reaching out and spending your Thursday with me. I know we chatted for a good while, and I had a great time. Like everything sounds super sick. Like TKO is great. I'm stoked to see what comes next and where you guys take it from here. With LP2 and LP3 and so on down the line. Just keep doing what you're doing. If anyone's looking for merch, music, or just Puppy Angst in general, where can they find it?
All right. We have puppyangst.bandcamp.com. There is music for sale and merch for sale some of the time when I can list it and ship it out. But sometimes I do just have to save the merch for the shows because it's a lot to keep track of all the time. We have Spotify, Apple Music, any streaming service, Puppy Angst, which you will see spelled in the title of this episode. We're on Facebook. It's not super active. We're on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter at Puppy Angst. Those are pretty active. We have a YouTube where you can watch our music videos. Yeah, I think that's it.
Well, depending where you found this episode, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or if you go by X now, Threads, or YouTube.
Oh yeah, we're on Threads too, but I really don't check that one too often.
Yeah,
I made it because I felt like everyone was making it, and then I don't really know if everyone's using it though.
It's starting to pick up traction, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, if you found it on any of those, or you watched the YouTube version and got to see all of their lovely faces like I did tonight, make sure you check the description, hit those hyperlinks, go follow them on all the socials, be ready for, new music, merch, those upcoming tour dates that are going to hopefully come to fruition for November, and
Yeah,
go see them out all those
Bandsintown and
shows.
Songkick. I forgot those two, but we are on Bandsintown and Songkick for tour dates.
Hell yeah. Well, just go
Right.
follow them on there. As someone that's in Minneapolis and won't make it out to the East Coast for these shows, you have to go to the shows for me and let me know how they were. One last big thank you to the 5 of you in Puppy Angst for taking the time. I really appreciate it. And other than that, I'll catch everyone on the next episode.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thank you. We had so much fun.
Beers with Biz.